The views and opinions expressed in this broadcast do not necessarily reflect or represent the views and opinions of WBGR Network.
Welcome to NBusiness with Terrell Shepard, yours truly. Once again, glad to be back here for another tremendous week. Of course, I'm glad to be here with my two friends and co-hosts working with me, Warren Doze, Calvin Williams. Glad to be here. Listen, we're talking all things sports and all things business, and why not? The first thing we ought to talk about, Nationals win the World Series.
The Nationals.
I mean, are we talking about it? Unbelievable. 19-31 in May, and here they come make the most incredible run back through the season. Got a little bit to talk about that. I know you all want to jump into that, so we wanted to make that our first topic. Kelvin, go right ahead. You talked about it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like you were saying, man, World Series, underdogs coming from nothing to something, man. The Washington Nationals, man, starting off. Underdogs throughout the whole playoffs, really. I mean, like, you start off with the win, the wild card win, just to get into the playoffs against Milwaukee.
Absolutely.
And then you followed it up with the annual collapse of Clayton Kershaw and the Los Angeles Dodgers, man.
Yeah.
From there, then, you know, they had the unfortunate demolition of my hometown St. Louis Cardinals. But, you know, we're in the Washington area now. My man Warren is over here giving me a hard time before we went on air. But, you know, it's the truth. Kind of seeing that transition going from the bottom of the you know, the league, like my man Terrell was saying, 19-31 earlier in the year, all the way to the pinnacle, and now they're the world champions. So
world champion.
And the question is, the real news question is, what does Bryce Harper think about this? I mean, so glad the fact that we finally got the cancer out of the locker room. We can say it, Bryce.
Hey.
I mean, so glad you're in Philadelphia.
Right.
Glad you're doing well. I'm sure you were comfortable last night.
Yeah, he was comfortable.
And I'm sure that as we looked at a very interesting thing, we talks about home field advantage.
Yes.
No home team won in the World Series.
Absolutely. So how effective is, or how important is home field advantage?
Right.
You know, in some sports, and I know we can talk about that in terms of basketball and football, it seems to have some more importance.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
But in baseball, because of the science of the sport,
absolutely.
You know, the manager moved last night to keep Scherzer at 5 innings, who was hurt, by the way, 2 days ago.
Yeah, absolutely.
103 pitches, had given up the one in the second, gave up this one now in the fifth. I'm thinking to myself, Scherzer's pitch count is great. 7 times Astros had people on base.
Absolutely.
And only got 2 runs.
Got 2 runs.
And let me just interject for a minute, since Warren wanted to talk about the Cardinals. Let's just remember Max Scherzer is a Missouri original.
Oh, is he?
Well, he is.
University of Missouri. So if it wasn't for University of Missouri, I don't know if the Nationals would be over here singing the same tune as they were before.
No doubt about it.
As usual, we say thank you.
As usual, we say
Thank you. We'll take it.
We say thank you. We looked at the fact that Scherzer, they kept him in there. Rizzo made a risky management move.
Sure, absolutely.
I thought so. As a matter of fact, I just knew they was going to take him out in the 4th. They kept him through the 5th. And then I must give it to Greinke. I mean, for the Astros, the dude was pitching lights out.
He was pitching lights
through
out.
7 innings. He only had 68 pitches, 1 hit.
Yeah.
1 hit.
Man.
And when that walk-off solo by Rondon got us that, I said, oh, they're going to take out Greinke, put in Cole, which had they done that, we might not be waking up today with a different conversation. But they let him stay in, put 2 more pitches. Soto gets walked, and then Harris comes in with the line drive down first base. To give us a 2-shot home run.
Absolutely.
Gives us 3-2. Changes the complete dynamic
absolutely.
of the 7th inning.
And without having Cole in the game, you can see the effect that it had. And even after the game, because he's a free agent now. He's out of there. Just the way that he looked and he talked, he's out of there.
He's done. It's so funny talking about the irony and the business of the scenario because then we go put Corbin in.
Yes.
Who in my opinion is terrible as a starter, but as a reliever, lights out last night.
Out.
Yeah.
I mean, he had a no-hitter through the 9th, and of course Hudson's going to end it. So it was from a lot of people don't realize in baseball the importance of management.
Absolutely.
It's the rotation. There's no science to it. These guys are sitting there on the sideline making that judgment. But I think, to me, the call to somehow leave Scherzer into the fifth, work his way out of that, and not for the Astros manager to pull Greinke.
Absolutely.
Might have been was the difference in my opinion.
Absolutely. And as you said before, like it's in baseball, and it's kind of different than a lot of other sports. You know, you can have all the talent. For example, we talked about the Dodgers and their shortcomings as it's been. In the past, they've stacked their players. We're talking Crawford, Puig, the pitching rotation, Kershaw, everybody coming in, and look at the success that they've had. Where's the goal? You know, that's the end goal. You want that ring. You don't mean a thing if it ain't got that ring.
If it ain't
so
got
you
that
can
ring,
have all the talent in the world, but when it comes right down to it, it's down to that management. And like you said before, I think that's the most important part.
And another point to that is that last night, Strasburg said in his interview after the game, he wants to thank management for bringing in these other guys.
100%.
Yes.
Because with those other guys, they made me do things that I've never done before.
Oh yeah.
And they talking about, you talking about when they giving you hugs and y'all playing and joking in the dugout doing
That's
the game.
right.
He said absolutely. Yeah. It brought that team cohesiveness together.
It was very interesting at the Nationals played all postseason with this idea that they really had nothing to lose. Because as you just pointed out, Kelvin, they were the wild card coming in. And so to come from the wild card and to actually complete the deal and win the World Series is a phenomenal run, unbelievable in and of itself. And the play-in wild card on top of that. They weren't just a wild card. They were playing. They weren't
play to get in.
They had to play to get in on the wild card. And so to have that opportunity to come and beat what I call the juggernauts, because when you talk about the Dodgers, you talk about the Cardinals, who are juggernaut when you talk about that, and then to end it by playing the best team in baseball this year with the Houston Astros. A phenomenal run. It goes to show you that in baseball, just like in life, and fight to the finish. The shirts was finish the fight.
Finish the fight.
Finish the fight. I mean, that was the slogan for the Washington Nationals. That's what they went with. And again, that's a metaphor not only for business, that's a metaphor in life itself.
That's right.
Finish the fight. 100%. And these guys were able to finish the fight, do something that, again, I think it hadn't been done, and obviously in the Washington, D.C. area since the Senators.
Absolutely.
So we're talking, almost 100 years for us to even have this type of opportunity. So a tremendous opportunity there. And interesting enough, the Wizards were playing the Houston Rockets last night.
Right.
159 to 158.
I just saw that this morning.
My God.
So I was turning in between the games. I mean, I'm telling you now. I know that they don't play basketball more in the NBA no more. I know they've stopped that. I get that. Last night, it was not the fact that they didn't try to play defense. I'm telling you right now, just as we're going to get James Harden is going to be a problem.
How many did he have last night?
He said 60.
Woo!
But
come on,
Bradley Beal with I think 47.
Goodness gracious!
Last night looked fantastic, looked great. So we're gonna do that. Give us a call at 301-429-9247. We got a national special. Give us a call 301-429-9247. All things sports, all things business. Welcome to NBusiness with Terrell Shepard. How can I help you?
Warren Doe.
It's Warren Doe right here. Who's calling?
It's Reagan, man. What's up?
What's up, Reagan? That's my guy, man. That's my guy. He's a LeBron fanatic.
All right. Man. Okay.
Yeah. So don't say nothing bad about LeBron. It's over.
All right.
It's over.
Good. Listen, what do you want to say in reference to the Lakers or in reference to the Washington National, Washington Wizards? Of course, this is a Washington town today, so we're excited about that. Go right ahead.
Okay, as far as the National, man, I just think it's just an awesome thing what they were able to come to do and overcome, man. Like Strasburg, we got the MVP.
Absolutely.
In a couple of different ways, I think. So Rendon or Howie were all in the running for it.
Yes.
Yeah, so, man, I'm just happy with that. But, man, since that's already over and done and we'll be at the parade tomorrow, it's all Bond talk, man. Laker Nation.
All right, Laker.
There you go.
Well, let me ask you a question, since I know the Lakers, and I know we've had this conversation here, so we're going to extend this segment a little bit on as it relates to the Lakers, since he brought that up.
Absolutely.
LeBron, Anthony, AD. Now, there is talk, from what I understand, that the Lakers might not be the best team in their own building.
Ooh!
I mean, that's just what they saying.
Hooker, let them have it. Let them have it.
That's what they saying. Somebody said that Kawhi and Paul George, in the same building, and from what I understand, the Clippers played the Lakers earlier this year. It's only been 3 games in. Yeah. First game, and I mean, if I'm not mistaken, I know LeBron was on the court.
And we look at the history of the game with LeBron changing teams. The teams always started off slow. It's sort of like how Mayweather, he don't really study teams, start off slow and get it together. Yeah. But I mean, if we're going to talk about Kawhi and Paul George, LeBron went to 8 straight. Kawhi Leonard has been in the league. So if we hype it and want to push Kawhi to the top, with him having the best coach in basketball in San Antonio, why do we give Kawhi a pass for not being in there fighting with Golden State? Golden State has been with the 5 straight in the league with Kawhi there. So I already disqualified Kawhi as even being the best player in the league. That was just something he did because I personally feel he would have never beat the the Golden State Warriors healthy. He'd have never beat the KD, Klay Thompson team. And then Paul George, this is the same man LeBron sent home 7 times. So why should we feel Paul George and Kawhi Leonard?
Let me just say this. When we're having the conversation, on Paul George, when we're having the conversation on Kawhi Leonard, here's what we always got to understand. LeBron, no one questions LeBron's greatness. Because LeBron is no doubt going down in this era as the greatest player.
Right.
I think that's without question.
Okay.
I'm 100% with you. However, even the greatest players start to wane. Yeah. Even the greatest players, LeBron, we know is in that third era. He's now coming off the scene. It's great, but he's not as great. And when you look at what a Kawhi can do on the defensive side and on the offensive side,
absolutely.
When you look at now to your point, I'm in the same boat. I do not think that Toronto beats Golden State with a healthy Kevin Durant.
Absolutely not.
I agree with you 100% on that. However, ifs and maybes are only they don't count in sports because the fact is they had to play them without that.
And let's be honest. Even though we're talking about the playoffs, just the playoffs, last year with Toronto and Golden State, Kawhi led the Toronto Raptors to the playoffs almost single-handedly last year. Did he not? That by itself, did he not?
I see. That's my thing with that. Well, we give Kawhi a lot of props for that.
Yeah.
You just all you did was really give a revamped. I can't name. Well, I won't go drawing blanks. Your boy that went to San Antonio.
Who went to San Antonio?
You said it was a revamped team from when he was with San Antonio with Toronto?
Because we always look at Toronto as if they've been in like 4 of the last 5 Eastern Conference Finals, regardless as a team. With Ibaka, DeMar DeRozan is the name I'm thinking about. If you think about DeMar, you just really replaced DeMar with Kawhi.
DeMar Rosen.
Okay. Right, DeMar Rosen.
And then there's no LeBron in the East. So the fight to get through the East wasn't as hard for Kawhi right now because who was left in the East?
Absolutely, because Bron left the East.
And they were already there. Kyle Lowry actually finally stepped up. Kyle Lowry had one of the best seasons because to me, if I look at what Kawhi did in the playoffs, Kawhi was a beast in the playoffs, but Kyle Lowry sort of carried him in the finals. I don't really see Kawhi as being that dude in the finals. He looked
wait a minute.
I mean, of course, his numbers might not say it, but I never saw where he just took over. Brady just took over the finals. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. People have made Kawhi the dude he is and what he is, and they beat us. They up 1 game now. But I don't think with what you just saw and what you're seeing starting to come together with LeBron and AD, I think what we saw with stagnation was that at the end of the 4th quarter, Anthony Davis didn't really feel like he was better than LeBron. So he was looking for Bron to take over. Bron was sitting back like, well, hey, Anthony, sort of how they look, the Wayne Wade and LeBron look facing Dallas.
That first year.
It's a decision of figuring out who's going to lead and when and they're going to lead. But I think once they get it together, man, and the news is Kuz comes back on Friday.
Yeah.
They're going to be, Kuzma going to get to play one-on-one basketball.
Well, let me just say this. I'm glad that we have this Laker fan here, but today, and thank you for your call. But today we gonna celebrate the Wizards almost beating the Houston Rockets last night, 158-159, and we're gonna talk about the Nationals being the world champion. Thank you so much for your call. By all means, give us a call. You gotta come in, give us a call on this segment 301-429-9247.
I appreciate you, mate.
Thank you so much. So again, as you can see, even around Laker Nation is always going to be there. But we making sure that it's going to be the Wizards. Wizards when we talk about, and when we talk about Nationals Day today, it got to be Nationals Day today.
Nationals Day today.
Got to be Nationals Day today.
Right, we can go back.
But we're going to have a topic today, and I'm going to bring it up now. So when we talk about it, when we get past off the break, should women coach men in sports?
You got a hot button topic right there.
Should men coach women?
Send help. Send help.
So I'm asking these two who have and let me set the premise. Let me set the premise here. So when we come back off a break, I don't want it to be. The question is not, now notice I'm not asking are women qualified to coach.
Sure. Right. Okay.
I didn't say is a woman qualified to coach? Because I think we all on the set here can agree women are qualified to coach.
Absolutely. Sure.
There are several women that we pointed out we're going to talk to. As a matter of fact, next week, hopefully, we're going to have a coach in the NBA that's going to be right here on our show streaming, and we're going to talk about that.
Absolutely.
And so we're looking forward to having Lisa Willis with us. But before Lisa comes on next week, so she'll know that the show she's watching in the segment, should women coach men? And maybe the question I want to get to, so the real question would be, is there an advantage? Okay. I'm not I want to take out the fact of are they qualified to coach? And I also want to take out, we know men's sports, which I'm going to get to a little bit later in the segment, makes more than women's sports.
Right, absolutely.
So we understand the opportunity is more money to coach men.
Right. Absolutely.
But I want to get into should they coach, and I want to talk strictly from a sports standpoint of view.
Right.
You two should be able to know this. Well, let me ask a question. Have either one of you all had a woman as a coach?
No.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So there has to be a rationale behind that. I got my view. I'm going to bring it on the other side. Yeah. I want us to have a discussion. I want you all to give us a call, 301-429-9247, 301-429-9247. Should women coach men? Back on the other side of this break when we get back.
Hello, my name's Amanda. I want to tell you about the #1 online insurance quoting site the industry has to offer today. This one-of-a-kind site allows you to get the most competitive quotes on life, health, home, and auto insurance. No more going from site to site or agent to agent to find the best quotes. We offer the best quotes in one place on one site. Unlike other insurance quoting sites that provide some computer automated voice system or customer service agents sitting in a call center to assist you, we are a full-service national independent insurance agency that will offer you personalized service through one of our local agents to meet all your insurance needs. Insurance Direct 123. We are making buying insurance easy again. For more information, go to our website, www.insurancedirects123.com, or call 1-866-481-0732.
Welcome back to NBusiness with Terrell Shepard, yours truly once again, Warren, Kelvin. We're here asking the question. Of course, we had our segment, of course, going on. Washington Nationals, of course, once again, world champions. Just want to make sure we put that out at the segment. But once again, the question is on the floor, should women coach men? Now, before I even give you the debate, particularly in the NBA, but I'm also wondering for football as well, too. Sure. So it's not just basketball, football, but in the NBA, there are actually 8 women who are coaches on the assistant coaches level in the NBA. So you got Jenny Busek, Brittany Donaldson, Lindsay Goddard, Becky Hammond, Lindsey Harding, who was with the 76ers, Neil Ivey, Carl Lawson, Natalie Nakasi, Chrissy Tolliver, Karen Umaloff, and I believe Teresa Witherspoon, which is most of us know with the New Orleans Pelicans. And of course, we just talked about Lisa Willis, who's now with the New York Knicks.
That's right. That's right.
So we had so again, qualifications, women can coach men.
Right.
Should they coach men? I'm asking y'all.
Personally, yes, there is room.
Okay.
And I'm going to just go on my experience from last season, being up in Philadelphia with the 76ers, and being able to see Lindsay transition to the men's game.
Okay.
And she's left now. I don't know what team she's with now, but she did an awesome job with those guys.
Okay.
I was able to see her getting there in the grind with them, train them daily, and the respect that they have for her. And she kicked their butt.
Okay.
With the drills and all of that. And they listen to her. Okay. So I'll say absolutely.
Okay. So now in football, it's a little different.
Yeah.
It's a little different.
Yeah.
But do you think women can coach football? Because that's been a debate.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. I mean, now granted, there is a bit of culture differences within the NFL locker room and things of that sort. But from a respect standpoint, just as Warren was just saying, from a respect standpoint, absolutely. Whenever there's a coach in general, even as a player, you always want to be able to respect your coach, period. So, 2015, Arizona brought in Jennifer Welter, and she actually went on to have a brief career with the AAF as a coach as well. So there is a precedence of women coaches in the NFL. And at the end of the day, as I said before, when it comes to being a professional athlete, it's more about respecting your coach regardless of gender. So if you see someone come in and they may look different than you, rather that skin color, gender, whatever, it's all about respect. So if that coach is able to convey that respect, that's what's most important. It doesn't matter what their gender is or what their background is at all. If you can convey that respect, that's what's most important as being the coach in the NFL. So
okay,
absolutely.
So these two gentlemen who have obviously played and coached and been at a high level, have once again missed my question of can women coach should they coach from a qualifying standpoint of view. They both answered qualifying questions. Warren started off about the fact that Lindsay is a great trainer, and she is. And he also started about the fact that can they do drills. My answer is no, women should not coach men. And here's why. Because when you're looking at a sport of dealing with men, what these two men are sitting on the panel, and they know this good and well, is simply this. Women cannot duplicate, nor can they get into the psyche of what a male or a man has to go through when it comes down to being able to be that competitive at that moment on the field. They can get into coaching you drills, but what they can't coach you on is how to be a male in that component. Just like I'm not suggesting that they can't be qualified to tell you what you need to do to be ready. It's very difficult, particularly in combat sports. It's a little more. You can probably get away with it more in the NBA or in baseball than you could in football, Kelvin, because it's more of a contact sport, which requires you to have a different mindset that unless the person has either experienced or gone through that, it's going to be a challenge for them to be able to do it from a coaching perspective. I'm not saying they can't do it from a qualification standpoint, from a coaching standpoint. But you go right ahead, Warren.
No, I'm going to pass it on over to Kelvin. But I will say this before I pass it on to Kelvin. They have women football leagues.
Yes, they do.
Legends Football League is running the playoffs right now.
Right, so you're trying to tell me that because...
And they're playing against women, if I'm not mistaken.
But it's the same, it's a sport.
But
how would they not know?
I said women coaching men. Can they coach other women playing football? Yes, they can. But to coach a man playing football at the highest level with the type of contact and what you have to do, you might can show someone a drill. You might can be a great trainer, but I don't know if you can actually coach, which requires more than just having the way you get respect in coaching is more than just saying, I'm going to give you the X's and O's of a playbook. Am I correct about that? Because if that was the case, Jay Gruden can give you the X's and O's of a playbook. Players also have to see people who are not only have the ability to give them the X and O's, but are also with them and can more. Here's the key word: lead them into battle when they need it for what they're trying to do. And a lot of times, not even men. Some of the Jay Gruden's problem to me is he was only a quarterbacks coach when he was at Tampa Bay, and he was only a coach in the arena football, and he played very limited football on a professional level. Very difficult for him to lead. Now, we have some aberrations. The guy in San Francisco, Michelle. We have some aberrations who haven't played and who have been able to do it, but it's very few of them. That's the only thing that I'm saying. It's very few of them. And I don't know if women should be head coaches. I'm not saying they can't. I don't know if they should be. 301-429-9247. 301-429-9247. You want to be a part of this conversation? Should women be head coaches in the NBA or the NFL?
Is it my turn?
It's your turn.
All right. Let me ask you a question.
Uh-oh.
You ever heard of a coach, small school out, Eastern America, Eastern North America on the East Coast here, by the name of Gino Auriemma?
Yes, we have.
Okay. For the people at home, Gino Auriemma is one of the most successful NCAA coaches of all time, if not the most successful. Am
Absolutely.
I right? All right. 11 national championships with the University of Connecticut women's basketball team. Now, granted, Gino Auriemma, from the name alone, you can understand that he is a male, and he is coaching female athletics.
Absolutely.
How can you analyze that situation as opposed to a woman coaching men?
Calvin, that's a great point. Let me exactly tell you how I can do it. I'm so glad you asked the question.
Yes, sir.
First of all, if you're looking at it from a male standpoint of view, the reason why a male can normally coach a women's organization or a team with that is because, first of all, Gino's not only his capacity, coming from a sport where the male is more dominant in terms of more aggressive in the sport, they are coaching, by the way, which is going to get to Connecticut success. Mm-hmm. He is basically taking an approach that he learned from a male perspective in his coaching of basketball, transferred it to Connecticut, and allowed the Connecticut Huskies to be able to act, and some have duplicated and failed, and some haven't, okay. But he was able to take that component and utilize it, in my opinion, in the style of basketball that they play. So, they have now, it comes down to then talking about coaching and leadership. Yeah. They can respect the fact that somebody is coming with a style, one, that they learn from a more aggressive approach. So, for an example, if women's sports was more aggressive than men, then I could very well see women being, for an example, a coach. Let me give you an example.
Sure.
I could see a woman being the male coach in tennis because you have a sport that's non-combat. Okay? Or non-really physical combat. And what you did, so now what you're talking about is your ability to what? Execute. Sure. From the standpoint of how you hit the ball, how aggressive you are, where you are in the process. So could you have a woman who is could you have a Serena Williams, who is arguably the best tennis player ever of our era?
Sure.
Could you have her to actually transfer and coach at a level to men? Absolutely. Because but if it was a contact sport, is what I'm talking about. So I should have been more clear. Females coaching contact sport. Basketball is not as much of a contact sport as football, but women coaching men at a contact level is probably how I should have more so said that. I don't know if women have the capacity, not so much to give the X's and O's about how they ought to do the business, how they ought to do the actual execution.
Sure.
Playbook, so on and so on. Can you lead a team into that kind of environment? I'm saying, should they be able to do it? I don't think they should be able to do it. Should be in that position to have to do it, because here's why I believe. I don't know how fair it is to the woman who's in that position. If you put a woman as a head coach of a professional football team, I don't know how fair it is for her. It might be historic, but I don't know how fair it is to that individual to be able to try to lead that team.
Why is that?
The moment, if you look at it from a situational standpoint of view, let's just take for an example.
Sure.
I'm going to give you the Cincinnati Bengals of this year.
Anybody can coach them.
Well, this is what. Okay, so I'm gonna give you the perfect example.
Okay.
If the Cincinnati Bengals, who are 0-8, which means that they have a whole lot more issues than coaching.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Coaching is not their number one issue.
Yeah.
They got some issues as it relates to defense, offense, special teams, and coaching, in my opinion.
Yeah. Okay.
But my point is, all those are issues. Should we be accurate in that?
Absolutely.
Right? If you had a woman that was coaching that team, guess what the issue would be? The issue would be she's not able to lead this team. She's 0-8. She wouldn't be able to lead this team. And that would be the challenge. The challenge is, although there could be some X's and O's, there could be some other issues, that would be the everybody would be talking about the Cincinnati Bengals with a women's coach, which would then lead to how do men play under that?
Right. And like you were saying, it is a bigger fight than just on the field.
It's a bigger fight than on the field. Because if we're talking about it from the standpoint of the question is not can they draw up the plays, draw up the plan, have a passion for the game.
Yeah.
I know women who can draw up the plays, draw up the plans, can coach you in your do situational coaching in your cornerback, running back, quarterback, what have you.
Right.
But can you lead the team? Because in that kind of environment, it is a different environment. Because now the men are looking for a leader. Right now, for example, the Washington Redskins, 1-7. Right? The players are looking for how are we going to lead up out of here.
Right.
They need Callahan to lead them up out of there.
Yeah.
And whatever way he has to do. I'm not saying he's going to be successful at it, but that's what they're looking at. If a woman is doing that, they'd be looking for the same thing, but here would be the problem. She's not able to do that.
Is she capable of doing
Is she capable of doing 100%.
that? I'm gonna let Warren take it because I can see his head is starting to bubble a little bit.
But I'm gonna let Warren go ahead and take it.
Let him jump in a little bit.
Yeah, I'm just sitting here. Can she take it? Why not? Okay, you have the Army, Air Force, Navy, Marines. You have women leading men into the wars, into different areas in life. So
absolutely.
What's the difference between that's war, football, basketball? That's war.
Good point.
Okay.
So why couldn't a lady not lead a male-dominated team into war?
And I jump in too.
301-429-9247. Should women coach men in sports?
Let's see if I can get a name.
Particularly contact for 301-429-9247.
Yeah. On top of that, I also think that a woman would, in particular, be able to. Do you think that they would be able to give a different perspective than a male coach? You know, something that maybe we don't think about a lot of times. A lot of times they say, behind every strong woman is strong man is an even stronger woman.
Right. Yes.
So in order to have that dynamic, do you think that that's something that can be said as well? That maybe a woman would be able to bring a different kind of approach to coaching.
Well, let me first chop up Warren on this military component.
No, let's go because I'm okay. Go ahead. Your chop, please.
Because
we got a call.
On a conversation dealing with that, we have to look at it from the standpoint of military is job based. And I'm not qualification based. See, this wasn't a qualification question. Okay. This is a job based question. 301-429-9247. Call, go right ahead.
Hello?
Yes, this is NBusiness with Terrell Shepard. Go right ahead.
This is Haywood Heisman. What's up?
Good. How you doing, Haywood?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
76ers.
Go right ahead with your comment, Haywood.
No. Let them know what we talk about. Ask him the question.
The question that he wants to know, Warren wants to remind you is, could a woman be the head coach of a...
That's a head coach?
Well, okay, coach. Coach.
Okay.
Coach.
He changing it up every second. So this is the question that he had, right?
Could you be the coach? Could he coach men? Should a woman coach men?
Professionally.
I don't see why not. I mean, women have the same amount of IQ as basketball as we have when it comes to, IQ and stuff. I feel like women are, they're getting stronger and brighter. I mean, you can see today's game, women are getting hired for development coaches. Women are getting hired as referees. Women are getting hired for, big time jobs in the world. We have women presidents, probably become the first woman president. So I don't see why a woman can't become head coach for boys or men.
So let me ask a question then. If this is the case in the sentiment that women should coach men professionally.
Hold on, I didn't hear you. Say it again.
So the sentiment is women should be able to coach men professionally. That means football, and we're going to say, and I wanted to kind of narrow down the football and basketball context, but let's just say in all scenarios.
Okay.
Let's say in all scenarios. Then are you telling me that the reason why women are not head coaches for professional over men, are you telling me that the only reason why is sexism?
It's because it's a good old boys club. Absolutely.
That's it.
Yes.
That's what you're saying.
Yes.
I feel like sometimes
so wait, so let me get this straight. So this was the same kind of sentiment when we were talking about, and again, it's a little bit different. Hold on, let me tell you what's different.
A little different. Here we go.
When African Americans, when they were talking about should African Americans be coaches, and you were talking about the good old boys
and quarterbacking,
right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, but the difference was there were already people who were in the league and proven, so it was more of a racism scenario. Whereas so the point that I'm getting to is this. You all are saying that because my thing would be this: if we all say women are qualified and should be able to coach men, there are several owners, first of all, who would have no problem with a woman head coach. Several. There are organizations that are owned by women.
And what?
Oh, there are several organizations that are owned by women. Let's start with the card we had earlier, the Los Angeles Lakers. Okay. Last I checked, they're run by a woman.
No, she's the head. She's the head.
They're run by. She is the head of the thing.
She's the head. She's the head. She's the head. Because her daddy
Los
left.
Angeles Raiders. You have several organizations that have women that are in the highest level of the organization. And my point that I'm making to you, if it was just sexism, you would have several women. And by the way,
I disagree with that.
If not assistant coaches, they would be head coaches.
I disagree.
There's several opportunities.
You have assistant coaches, but I disagree with what you just said about because the woman, she's the owner of the organization, I'm gonna hire her because she's a girl.
We just got whoa. We got three men. Hold on, wait a minute. We got two men here, one on the phone, who is all saying that a woman should be.
No. You said should. We saying they are qualified. That was the initial question.
The question was, should women coach men professionally? Was that not the question?
You changed the question up a million times.
In what way? As a head coach or
right?
It should women
coach men? Coached by a girl before.
No, I didn't say can they. I didn't say are they qualified.
But he said yes earlier, yes.
Yes. So my point would be this. If women should be able to, and if women should coach men professionally, how come
this movement has just started, so stop it. This movement has just started with getting women into these positions. I
just named you 9 women that were assistant coaches.
They just started. How long has it started? San Antonio Spurs. Yeah. This is just started. This movement has just started.
2015, Becky Hammond.
Right. Yeah. This is just started. Right. This just started. This hasn't even been 4 years in.
Let's give it.
So come on now. So it's not like it's 10, 20 years in. This movement has just started.
Yeah, we'll see what the progression goes.
Stop it, Terrell. Stop it.
I think it's huge.
301-429-99.
Come on, man.
301-429-99.
But I want to appreciate Wood for calling in. I know he had practice today. Up there in Delaware and with the Sixers and all that stuff. So I appreciate him calling in.
Thank you for calling in. I'm so glad that you took the opportunity to hopefully try to get me straight dealing with Warren and Kelvin over here on the set. It's been tough dealing with these two. But thank you for your comment. And we know that Haywood, of course, if you can just give us a little bit of shout out about Haywood more, I know Warren can. So just give us a little bit of shout. We know that he's currently right now, we're working with the 76ers organization, playing that organization. And we're looking for him to do some big things in 2019 and 2020.
Absolutely. This is the year.
And so we're excited about having him to call in and be a part of our show. Call in anytime. I just won't have Warren when you call in. All right.
Appreciate you guys, man.
Hey, thank you so much.
All right, sure.
Good. So we have the debate. Should women? Of course, I'm a believer that I don't think they should, but I understand it.
Okay.
Understand the qualification of it. Understand the aspect of it. I'm going to get to them more. We've had this, by the way, this ain't the first time we've had this debate on In Business with Terrell Shepard. We've had this because here is the situation. Here's what I believe that organizations, particularly professionally, make.
Yeah.
They make the decision, just like we talk about the LGBT community. Sure. We've talked about that on this, which we'll have another show on that as well. The question always comes down to, my opinion, money, the business side of the table. Yeah. See, the question is, when it comes down to if the organization is a great organization.
Sure.
For an example, if you got a phenomenal team and the woman is the head coach, you're 100% right. I think that'll be, if it's going to work, it's going to be a phenomenal team.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, if it goes the route of African Americans, since we brought up racism, it's probably going to start at the worst team,
right?
I.e., Tony Dungy at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah, and that's an interesting dynamic.
At 0-17.
Yeah, that's an interesting dynamic that you were saying. As far as why exactly that coach is being brought in, you know what I'm saying? Because again. When you look at a situation, we kind of talked about LeBron earlier today. When you look at a situation kind of like with LeBron, when they're winning, it's all because of LeBron.
Right.
When they're losing, it's probably somebody else that's getting the blame.
Absolutely.
In that case, when it's a woman coach, I can see that possibly happen. And you know, as you said before, if it's an organization that's had a history of greatness and success, it's going to be this is the organization. But when it comes down to an organization and the performance, if it does slip under a woman's tutelage, then that could be, that could come back as unfair, as you were saying earlier.
And you got to understand something. Unlike the race conversation,
sure,
where one was making a judgment not based on talent.
Right.
For an example, it was based on nor experience. Right. So, for example, the argument was not the fact that African Americans did not have the experience of playing male-dominated sports and playing quarterback and playing at the same level.
Mm-hmm.
See, that wasn't the issue.
Right.
The issue was we don't want you to be quarterback because of your color.
Right.
It had nothing to do with the fact that whether or not you were qualified or not. And then until it took somebody getting into office saying we're trying to win, that you started seeing the quarterback shift change.
Right.
And even now, even though you've had years of whether you're talking about a Harris or a Randall Cunningham or Doug Williams or other people who've been in that aspect, even though you've had all of that aspect, even now you have racism in the context of whether or not people want to be a part of that.
Yep.
But I think the woman dynamic is different because you're not, whether she's African American or Caucasian or what have you, the question is transferable of experience is going to be different. Again, not qualification, which we talk about the military, which of course, like a woman can be the president of the United States.
Right.
We're talking about good God. We don't need to talk about politics. We'll do that next week. Good Lord, we can have an orangutan can run better than who we got as the president today. So we can, in terms of our capacity, we're talking about can she be qualified? That's not even a question.
Right.
The question is, should she? But that's a great debate.
Yeah.
We're going to have it again.
Absolutely.
And I had it with two other men because they said I should have it with a woman on the set. We're going to have that with a woman on the set. We look forward to our shows coming up next week with that. I want to wrap up with just you all's final thoughts as we begin to close out this segment. As we talk about all things sports, we talk about all things business. I'm going to start with Kelvin, just in terms of, again, this week, your overall perspective, of course, what's taking place, your aspect in terms of women in coaching, as you've talked about well. Just kind of your final thoughts. Give us about a good minute, more on the same thing, and I'll hopefully close us out.
Yeah, so, basically kind of wrapping everything up. As far as sports are going this week, we got a lot of things going on as far as moving forward within the NBA season. I'm really excited about some of the games coming up. Definitely trying to see the dynamic of where the power lies in the NBA now. As we just kind of had everything happen with Steph Curry, that's another topic for later. Breaking his left hand, the future of the Warriors going forth as far as the future of the, again, power structure in the NBA, whether it be Lakers or Clippers, who's going to end up winning the MVP? Can Giannis end up continuing to move forward with what he's been doing with the Bucks and take them to the next level as well? So it's a lot of different topics, not even getting into my favorite sport of football. So, it's definitely a lot of big things coming up, especially in Baltimore this week with the Ravens taking on the Patriots, so that's going to be a really big AFC game. Let's see how Lamar Jackson can take everything moving forward with the Ravens, and I'm excited. It's going to be a big week coming up in sports.
Yes,
fantastic.
Sir. Yes, sir. Hey, we want to start last night talk about the fight with Embiid in town. The first fisticuffs of the season. It was interesting. That was an interesting dynamic because Embiid likes to troll.
Yeah.
And he's trolled him a lot, so I guess Towns was a little bit upset about that.
Oh, yeah.
He finally got a chance to step on up into
the social media component.
Social media component. Absolutely. And then, with Steph going down, I've told people last year that Draymond was just an average player. He just had studs around him.
Yeah.
Wow.
And beginning of this season is showing that he's an average player. And now with Steph out, it's going to show that he's just an average player.
Wow.
So those two dynamics I would like to see a little bit more of. Braun, I like to see them get more cohesiveness between each other.
Sure.
Him and AD, that's going to happen. That was a great comment by my man earlier, Reagan. It makes sense.
Yeah.
And I'm just excited about the season, man. Excited about what we're doing as a group, too.
Yeah.
We haven't had a chance to talk about.
Absolutely.
So there's a lot of things that's coming up, and the most thing that I'm excited about is what we're coming up into and the great things that are coming here.
Absolutely. Absolutely. First of all, I want to talk about that, is nothing like seeing a championship mindset. We talked about finish the fight.
Yes.
So if anything in life, if we talk about one thing I learned from the Nationals going forward as we're talking about this year and just kind of the approach that they take again, coming from 19-31 just in May to finish the fight. Never give up on your dreams.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Never give up on what God has put in for you to do, because at the end of the day, you never know how it's going to fall.
Absolutely.
You never know how the chips are going to fall. You never know how it's going to be. It's one bat, it's one swing, it's one strike at a time.
Absolutely.
It's going out there every single day. Baseball is a phenomenal metaphor for life, because you never know. It can change in an inning. It can change on a swing of a bat.
Absolutely.
It can change on a pitch. And if you look at the Nationals win, the 4 wins that they had, all of them changed literally on a swing.
Yep. One play.
Yep.
Last night, the Astros looked like they were going to shut out the Nationals all the way to the 7th inning. Think about that in life. All the way to the 7th inning, and on a swing and of a bat, it changed the dynamic. The Nationals scored 6 runs in 3 innings.
Right.
So when you talk about the idea of what it takes sometime in life to push to the next level, all it takes is a swing of the bat.
Swing of the bat.
And it takes just an opportunity. So I love the Nationals from an opportunity standpoint. That's what I'm going to leave on. And that's what I'm going to leave my listeners with today. Take advantage of the opportunity. Get in that batter's box of life. Take your swing every time. Sometimes you're going to strike out. Sometimes you're going to foul out. But then sometime you're going to hit a home run.
Absolutely.
And we're looking for one day you hit the home run. We see how things happen in life. So until next week, we say all things sports, all things business. Till then, God bless. We're out.